The legacy of Thabo Mbeki in South Africa. Thabo Mbeki's education policy, a look back. Thabo Mbeki's legacy in education in South Africa is alarming. It's a known fact, of course, that the system of apartheid was supposed to keep African people under and oppressed. Apartheid was a barbaric system designed to ensure that Africans in South Africa would remain a permanent underclass. However, Thabo Mbeki, the second president of South Africa, did little to change access to education for the majority of South Africans. Apartheid, patterned after Nazism, was meant to uphold white, foreign, and minority superiority. The foreigners were given all the resources. In 1993, South Africa gained its independence, which was supposed to be a reversal of apartheid policy. By the year 2000, it became apparent that the institution and the policies of apartheid were still working in South Africa. Here are some facts about the Thabo Mbeki legacy. Only 48.9% of the population that sat for the matriculation exam in the year 2000 passed. Only 32% of those who entered secondary school actually sat for the matric exam. South Africa had a dropout rate of more than 50% during Thabo Mbeki's tenure. Students tended to do well in the Western Cape province. Private schools had an average of a 99% pass rate, which meant students with lower socioeconomic status continued to be disadvantaged. In the Western Cape, there were no gender differences in the scores of the students, and in the Limpopo area, girls had a 7% lower pass rate than boys. When you look at the education policies of the Limpopo, it makes sense why Limpopo became a stronghold of the economic freedom fighters. The Mbeki government obviously failed the youth of South Africa. In KwaZulu-Natal province, they had a shortage of 14,000 classrooms in 2003. This meant, of course, that upward mobility would be difficult for children in that area. In the Eastern Cape province, conditions in the classrooms were deplorable in the year 2000. 17% of the schools had no toilets, 45% had no electricity, 28% had no water. Drunkenness and absenteeism and the use of drugs was prevalent, creating a hopeless situation. We all know education affects economic mobility. In 2006, Mbeki then declared that the government had built 179 new schools and would be spending 1.5 billion rands, or 21% of the national budget, on education. In May 2006, 100 students who attended a high school in Orlando, Soweto, had only one qualified teacher. These are the results. These results are the legacy of Thabo Mbeki. A study by the Witwatersrand University showed that 43% of all South African schools had no electricity. 27% had no running water, and 80% had no library. So when we look back at the rule of Thabo Mbeki, the education policy is definitely a metric to be used.